The question of today is, who was Anubis? Alright guys, welcome back to this new episode. Today we're going to talk about Anubis. Anubis was a god, or a semi-god we should say. Okay, so let's delve into Anubis and Anubis history. We're talking about ancient Egyptians, and one of the most worshipped gods was undoubtedly Anubis. He is portrayed with the figure of a man and the head either of a dog or jackal. Honestly, it's probably more that of a jackal, but the ancient Egyptians were not so fussy. In the sense that even in the city that was entirely devoted and dedicated to the cult of Anubis, we have found, meaning archaeologists have found buried dogs, not really jackals. So what is the issue here? Why is Anubis depicted with the head of a dog or a jackal? Well, the understanding here is that Egyptians might have picked up on the fundamental, or one of the fundamental qualities that dogs have, that is of being extremely loyal, extremely faithful. And that is something that therefore they have ascribed to Anubis, because somehow Anubis was faithful. One more thing before we get into the faithfulness of Anubis is the color. The head of a dog or jackal is black. Now black is a color that has to do with death to us. But that reconnects to the symbolism of colors in ancient Egypt, where black was the color of resurrection, and therefore the color black for the head of the dog. Now, we don't think that ancient Egyptians really cared about the color of the dog, or whether that was an actual dog or a slightly different species like a jackal, but the color was black because of the resurrection. Now, to understand the role of Anubis, we have to go back, and specifically we have to go back to his birth, basically. There are at least three main versions that concern Anubis. Version number one is that Anubis was the son of the celestial cow Hesat. Version number two is that Anubis was the son of the goddess cat Bastiat. Version number three is that Anubis was actually the illegitimate son of an extramarital affair that Osiris had with Nephte. Now, Osiris was the brother of Isis, to whom was married, and also the brother of Nephte. Nephte was married with Set. Set, we do know that, is the god that is going to kill and make Osiris into 14 pieces. The story goes that Seth wanted the throne, so this wasn't a jealousy kind of revenge for stealing the wife, but was simply like a power move. Wanted the throne that Osiris had at the time, and decided to kill him. Not only to kill him, but being that you never know what happens to the dead, he decided also to make it in pieces. Exactly 14 pieces. Now we have to open a parenthesis. A huge parenthesis here, and we're gonna go for a tangent. The 14 pieces might be a random number, but the point was that they meaning especially Isis, the devoted Isis, was able to recollect and recompact the body except for the phallus. It is from another phallus that their son is going to be born, and their son is Horus. But in all of this, there is a huge misconception that has probably been touched upon by Newman, on the figure of Isis and who Isis really was. And that reconnects back to Isis being a sacred prostitute. That is something we're going to dedicate a video to. And basically having the role of force. So there might have been a Christianization of the figure of Isis. And to actually deeply understand who Isis was in the culture of ancient Egyptians, we probably should go back to either the roots of African unconsciousness, and I'm quoting the title of a book here, or we needed to go back to India. But this is a different story, so perhaps if any of you is interested, leave a comment and we're gonna discuss it some other time. So let's go back to Isis. Isis, the devoted Isis, and I'm not saying that to mock anything, but just more to highlight the fact that this is a Christianized version. As I said, the devoted Isis goes around the empire and collects the body parts that have been spread, the 14 body parts. And then what does she do? She brings them to Anubis. Anubis therefore became the god that embalms the dead. And so Anubis is the one that actually puts together, patches together, and patches up all the different pieces so that Osiris can live. This time it can live as the god of the afterlife. It is the one that is going to decide, along with other probably 40 judges, whether you're gonna end up in sort of hell or in a sort of paradise. So Anubis is found again in the kingdom of the afterlife, because he is actually the one that has to weigh, that has to put on the balance, that has to put the soul of the dead and weighs that against a feather. A feather that is the representation of the goddess Mahat. And basically in doing so, Anubis, what does he do? He establishes whether your soul is pure enough, whether your good actions have been enough to save your soul in the afterlife, or you didn't care that much and that's why you probably deserve hell, or a version of hell. It's also so interesting how ancient Egyptians are one of the first cultures that we do know of that has this concept of afterlife, but also because that is prior to ancient Egyptians, but as the concept of whatever you have done in life is going to have a consequence in the afterlife. And that is basically the representation of Anubis that has exactly that role. So he's going to assist the actual embalmer for the dead, but then we're gonna find Anubis in the room where your life is going to be weighted against your actions probably, and that is going to determine where you're gonna go. And that's it. That is all we know about Anubis. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel, and of course comment below and let us know your thoughts. We're gonna talk about something else next time. Bye!